Okay, while that's running out, I'll talk a little bit about what I did. Rather than take that little drive shaft loose, I went up under there and tied it off to one side. What I've got on this car is a hydraulic emergency brake. It's kind of like a line lock that I set up on this thing a long time ago. The problem with that is, in an emergency, it wouldn't do you any good. What it does is you can lock your brakes with it hydraulically by mashing your brake, popping the thing out. It keeps pressure on the brake line so that the car won't move. But if you lost your brake going down the road, you couldn't pull up a handle like you can a cable emergency brake. And that's really what this car should have and doesn't have. So I'm going to put that on the list as one of the things to do while I'm reworking all this, is to change this over to a handle style cable emergency brake setup for this rear end. I'm going to go ahead and drain the gas out because gas goes bad so quick up here, and I don't want to leave this sitting around with gas in it to go bad. I don't think that I'm I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be, I got a lot I want to do to this car, a lot of kind of updating, and I may even pull the body off. In a way I would like to, because it would allow me to do some framework, which I've kind of wished I had the opportunity to do after I got it all together. I'd like to cut the frame rails up here over where the axle is and raise them up so that this car sits really low, and it's so low that the axle hits the frame when I go over a pretty rough bump. And I'm fine with, I like the suspension. I don't need any airbags or any of that fancy stuff. But I would like if the hump in the frame was a little taller. And I've often thought if I ever take the body off of this, I could basically slice a little bit out of that frame, re-embrace it on the top so that I got a little bit more room for the thing to kind of go up and down. The other thing I want to do is I want to run exhaust pipes on here that come all the way out the back, which would be a lot easier to do with the frame off, body off, rework, and it would make all of that stuff I'm talking about doing as far as the motor, transmission, and all that set up a heck of a lot easier if this body wasn't in the way. Another thing about that is I got to looking and thinking last night about what I was talking about yesterday, which was to create a mechanical clutch. And I got to looking at, they make some really nice external hydraulic clutch slave cylinders, and I've already got a hydraulic master cylinder for a hydraulic clutch. It would be pretty quick and easy and take up a lot less space if I used a hydraulic master instead of designing a mechanical master. But all of those things are going to be a lot easier to figure out if the body isn't on it. And I don't believe it's that hard to get this body off. It involves a little work, but by having it out in the other shed, I won't be tying up my garage space here if I decide to do all of that. It could go along pretty well with what I'm going to want to do, which is to rework a small block Chevy engine and put in this. I could lift the body off out there. I could drag the frame back in here to do my welding work and stuff like that, and to fit the engine into it, and to set up the clutch, and do all that other fun stuff. It turns it into a bigger project, but I've got no reason to be in a hurry. I mean, I've got Mike's 32 sedan to drive, and I could spend the time I want to spend fixing this one up. And I'll tell you something else. Yesterday, I sat one of those 32 Studebaker's fenders up against the back of this car like it was going to be a fender on this car. It looked fabulous. The way that fender flares out and comes back matches the body line of this, and it could really make this into a good looking car. If you look at this rear end right now, this rear section was made out of a 57 Ford hood, and you can see how the old truck body line comes around and comes in front of the tire, and then there's like a straight line there. When you put that fender in there, that fender follows a similar line out to the back of the car, and it fills in that funny looking spot. Instead of being a straight line, it turns it into a nice flowing line that looks really good. When this gas gets through draining, I'll put the fender on there and let y'all look at it. I don't want to I don't want to walk away from the gas now because I don't want it draining off into the floor here. And I think I didn't put more than about a gallon in here, so I'm just going to sit here and let it drain slow, which is what it's doing. I might open that valve a little bit more. I don't want it to go too fast. I use this gas and lawnmower. I might stop it right there. I've got it. I took the thing loose on the other side of the valve so I could crack that valve open. I'll go get me a gas bucket and put that gas in the gas bucket for some lawnmower gas. I'll cut y'all off while I do that.